What's up, everybody? Welcome to BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter. That is Magically Average. And today we're going to do our own little anime of the year awards show for 2025. This year we did not get all dressed up and fancy like for y'all because, you know what? It was 2025 was a hell of a year. We've both been very busy boys in recent times. So, you know what? You get schlubby-ol-us for today for the awards ceremony. Um, Now, we aren't going to do like, hey, here's the category, here are 5 nominations, here's the ones that we're picking. It's just here's the category, here are our picks, and deal with it. I will probably shout out a couple different things as like honorable mentions because there are a few honorable mentions that I think would really fit that are like not super out there that I feel like really need some love in there.
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, the last criteria for these anime of the year awards are that it has to have been in the calendar year of 2025, so January to December. And then we tried our best to kind of spread the love. I know with award ceremony shows, etc. One show can just take everything and just leave nothing for everybody else. So we do have like a couple shows that may overlap and like we give them two. I think I have one that has like it might be two, it might be three, I don't remember.
Yeah, I have a few.
But yeah, regardless, we're going to try our best to like contain and spread the love as to shows that we have. So it's like, hey, why did you have this for best continuing show but this for your anime of the year? Well, we're trying to spread the love. So, without further ado, let's begin with our first category, best outro. Now, I have the list in front of me for both of our picks. I will just kind of say them both. We'll just discuss about it. But for me, I had Dan to Dan season 2 for the best outro. I think that the song itself is good, but I think the song with the accompanied credits makes it a really great outro.
Mhm.
One that I know that a lot of people got behind as well when it first came out, and everybody was like, holy crap, this is great. Like this intro song I felt like was lacking compared to, the last Creepy Nuts intro for season 1, but
Oh, I
their outro really stuck the landing for me.
I like the intro song actually more than the outro for Day
No,
to Dance
fair
season
enough.
2. My pick though was the My Dress Up Darling season 2 ending. I thought
Yes, it was.
it perfectly encapsulated kind of what the entire season was and just cosplaying, right? The
Yeah.
song fit it. I liked all the animation styles that they did for the ending that kind of switched between like different chibi versions and kawaii versions and gyaru versions and all that stuff. So it was good. It was a perfect encapsulation, like I said, of the entire season with a
Yeah.
very catchy earwormy type song too.
I would agree. No, I like again, I think I have my Dress Up Darling as one or two wins for this, so I was like, you know what? As great as that song is, I'm not going to give it
Just
love here. I'll give it love elsewhere.
yeah.
So spreading the love. But yeah, Dan to Dan season 2 for me, I really enjoyed that. Best intro. For do you remember what you put?
I did because I just filled out everything in completion like 10 minutes before we started. Probably a weird one I think for most people. But mine was My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I didn't watch through the whole first season mainly just because I was like I read it all. Like I know what's gonna happen. I know where it's gonna end, and it ended exactly where I imagine it would. And then season 2 picks up right where it is. So I think for a lot of people, it was kind of like if you've read the series, it was kind of forgetful season. Plus, I want to say it was baked in with like a bunch of other pretty high powered series at the time too. But the intro stood out. I liked that they incorporated the comic book style, like animation panels. It was very flashy. Had a lot of like the onomatopoeia type, like bangs, womb, pows type stuff in it, which is perfect because they do the same thing in the manga. So
Yeah.
that one, again, as a whole, not just the song alone, because there was plenty of others where I enjoyed the song more, but as a whole, that intro seemed to perfectly capture just what the from the manga specifically what Vigilantes was, and then obviously transitioned well into the anime and kind of what you were going to expect from it too. So
Yeah.
it might be surprising that people were like, "Oh, you talked about Orb so much. Why wasn't Orb?" And trust me, it was up there. the different intros that it had
I
throughout the
will
entire
say,
season. I'm like,
yeah,
and the song is incredible. If you're not aware of, I always butcher their name. It's like Sakakanation. I can't remember.
I'm looking it
The
up.
intro song was called Kaiju.
Intro.
It was great. By the band. They were on a hiatus for a while. And they like came back together, made this song. It took them years. I read about it. It like took them years to make it after they regrouped, and it was like their, I wouldn't say a crowning moment for them, but it was kind of like they got to breathe this huge sigh of relief finally once they finished this huge project, this demanding project, and it was well worth it, I would say, as a fan of the anime, because that song is superb. But no,
Yeah,
for me the intro
the
went to Vigilantes though.
the song you're referring to is Kaiju, performed by Sakanakshin.
Yeah, I that's what I was saying. I said that I just couldn't
Yeah,
remember the
yeah,
pronunciation of the band. I knew it was Kaiju, but yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
great too. Their sound is awesome. If you like um very melodic. This might be, people might think this is a far stretch. It gives like Blue Oyster Cult type like rock,
Oh,
like
okay.
that old, very melodic, kind of soft spoken, like in the lyrics. They have like, if you look up their band, they have like 8 or 9 members. There's like people doing a bunch of different instruments all over the place. They're awesome though. Their sound is very unique in that regard. But I would attribute it like to like those older style bluesy rock and roll groups from like the late 70s, early 80s era. Super cool.
Fair enough.
Kansas, like all of them.
Excuse me. For my best intro, I put "Call of the Night" season 2. This was the song "Mirage" by Creepy Nuts. If you, I was gonna say, yeah, if you've not heard it, you're doing yourself a disservice. You really need to listen to that song, let alone watch that show.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about this intro, just as a whole, um, is that it is a little sad that like this was one of those intros that really gave away a lot of like what's to
Yeah.
come in the season.
Yeah.
Like that, if
Usually you
you
gotta
get
like
rid of that,
close
it's
your eyes.
perfect because yeah, I was gonna say if you close your eyes and listen, it's great because it's like the song itself is wonderful. The intro is very moody and like gives off like the tones of what you're gonna see throughout the season. But like, yeah, it does spoil a lot of what's to come, which is a bit unfortunate.
It's which is so funny because we always tell people like just listen to the song, don't watch.
Yeah,
But then like for our award specifically, we incorporate song plus actual
yeah,
like the OST itself, right? Or no, not OST because that's the soundtrack. Like the actual intro animation, and
yep.
it's just people are like, well, pick a lane, figure it out. What do you, should I watch it? Should I not watch it? Should I like peek
No,
through it through my fingers? Like, what do I do?
if you've watched the entirety of the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've not watched it and listened to the song, great, you know the song, it's wonderful. If you've not watched it, not listened to the song, watch the show. Don't watch the intro, but listen to the song.
Yeah.
The
Or you
show
could just
itself
read it.
is
You could
definitely
just
worth
read it
it.
all, and
Or
then
you just read it
you
all.
won't have to have the intro spoiled for you.
You know what? You could do that as well. Moving on, our next is must protect at all cost. I put Tsukasa God damn, Akuraji, which is the main MC from Medalist. She's the
Oh yeah.
small girl. Um, if you've not watched Medalist, Medalist was absolutely wonderful. I think that show's highly overlooked. Season 2 starting this is coming out winter 2026. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if it's out yet or not. I got to check Hulu because I think that's where
Should
it's airing.
should be out soon.
It should be out soon. But yeah, Medalist was a criminally underrated show last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I will say this is one of a handful of categories that I do have like an honorable mention because it is another smaller show that I feel like a lot of people didn't watch.
Oh
And that is the character Meg Raspberry from Once Upon a Witch's Death. I went into that show thinking that this was gonna just be kind of cliche or whatnot, and like I came out of episode 1 being like, "Fuck! If the whole season is like this, I'm gonna love this." Luckily, the whole season wasn't like that, like episode 1. But for the most part, it was in the sense that you really got to learn about the world, the characters, and just get to know these people and their motivations. And it was really fucking good. And again, criminally underrated. Go watch Once Upon a Witch's Death. But those would be my two picks. But medalist, the main character from them that show, wins it this year. And then, do you need me to read yours?
I know that the character's name is Tina something. Can't remember.
Tina Isame,
Yeah,
Isami.
yeah. Like, would never be on a list like this in a normal
Nope.
award show because they are a side character. But they are the blue-haired prince, is what she's referred to as in Rock as a Lady's Modesty. She's like the one member that is the most removed from the rock and roll scene and just like got interested in it because she saw one of the people perform and was like, "Oh my gosh, now I'm in love with music, but I have no talent at any type of instrument." And just
So what do? We try to teach her the most difficult fucking instrument to
yeah,
learn, the
piano.
piano.
Well, I think they
God.
almost picked it out too. Like I think Tina was like, I kind of wanted to, because I think they said that they
Yeah.
played piano at some point. All rich snobby kids have played either piano or violin, and I would know.
Ew.
I played piano. um,
Ew.
but yeah, she was just one character where every time something bad happened and she was getting yelled at, you're like, "Don't yell at her!" You turn into like the "Leave Brittany alone" kid. But
God,
I don't know.
dating ourselves there.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know if I have an honorable mention. Um, it's so hard. This
That's
cat because
fine. I mean,
everyone's like Anya
yeah,
or whatever other small innocent character from a
yeah.
series, but yeah, she was the
No,
only one in
it's
my mind that stood out from the series that I had watched. Maybe the
yeah,
dad
no.
from Bureaucrat, the villainess one, but that show has already gotten
I would
enough
say the
awards
rest
for
of
me.
his family is like must protect. It's like
Yeah,
make sure
the
nothing
whole
happens
family.
to these people while they
Yeah, the
they tune
entirety of
into
the
their dad's.
of the lineage of them needs to be protected. But
Yeah. All right. Next category we have best antagonist. Do you want to start here?
yeah, I have Novak from Orb on the Movements of the Earth. He was such a well-written character and started off as like he didn't seem to be the type of villain that you are like it's constantly thrown in your face, right? Like he's not always there, he's not always present, but you always were worried whenever he did show up. And I'm not gonna give spoilers for it whatsoever, but like as the anime kept progressing, you had felt this like unsettling dread of like at some point he's going to show up. And it
Yep.
was like at times it'd be like the next episode and you'd be like, I called it. Or it'd be like 5 episodes later and you're like, oh my God, about time. Like it was he always just left this impending doom on the characters or the events that were taking place. So like his presence was always felt, but he never had to be on screen constantly, right? He wasn't the type of villain where it's I think a good example would be like the villain from ReZero from this past season of season 3, where like he always had to be there and like kind of just it was never you could just be like, hey, you can leave the screen for a little bit, all right? We get it. You're doing nefarious things. We understand. Good for you, bud. But I you don't need to throw it down my throat constantly, all right? Like let's let some of your other peons get the spotlight for a little bit longer, okay? And there's a lot of villains that are like that in shows, but he like Novak stood apart in that regard, and I feel like that's why he was definitely the best in my opinion for antagonist.
Yeah. For me, I kind of went a little bit more. Well, I'll just say, I picked Kaiju number 9 from the show Kaiju number 8, season 2 specifically.
Lagasp.
Now, Legasp, I know. So for me, like, what makes a good villain is that they aren't like, especially in an alien show, essentially, is like they have to be just diabolical. And I feel like Kaiju number 9 is absolutely diabolical in what they do of just trying to take down, like, how they try to take down mankind, and then the fucking mental warfare that they have against all of the main side characters that are shown in the show, because they
Hmm.
attack, like he attacks them at their like mental core of just like, hey, you love this person, I'm gonna mimic being this person and just like really screw with you. Or you're good at fighting, like with this fighting style, I'm gonna throw a kaiju at you that has basically a bad matchup for you, so you have to overcome that. Like I think that he was just a diabolical villain. I think that he was a great villain, and to me, he's just. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that sometimes, and I think that they did his character very well. So for me, it's Kaiju
I
number 9.
I think I it's funny because I feel like our two antagonists are like polar opposites in that regard. Where like Kaiju number 9 is easy to understand why you hate him, and it's palpable in like his diabolical nature, right?
Right.
So it's like you're like, oh yeah, duh, right? Novak is like the opposite, where you're like, there, I need to hate you. I know you're the villain, but why do I hate you? And it was like unraveling the reasoning, and then like as you did that, it was like he himself as a character as it was unraveling more and more, right? So it was completely different in nature between those two antagonists, which I find funny, but both well written in their own regards, nonetheless.
Absolutely. Next we have best protagonist.
The
For me, I
breast protagonist.
breast protagonist. No, best protagonist. Sorry about that. I've got Rudo from Gachiakuta.
Yeah.
I think that this show really took the world by storm, and for good reason. And I think that Rudo as a main character is very good. He's very flawed. He's like a baby bird just learning about the world, and just the way he interacts with the world and the people in it. Basically this new place that he just didn't realize like what happened, like, that people existed outside of the,
Mm-hmm.
where he lived. So I think that what he did throughout this course of season 1 and how he interacted with the world and other people, I think he made the most compelling protagonist in my opinion.
Yeah. Mine was Subaru from season 3 of ReZero. I think this season, I know there's been mixed opinions on it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great continuation from season 2, albeit starkly different in the sense that it's less of a time loop, more of a continuous problem of navigation, we'll say, where like the threat of death wasn't always there, but it was ever present. Unlike previous seasons, if you've watched ReZero, you'll know. Um, but like, it was the first, I think, time seeing him in a situation where like everyone looked to him to be a leader, and he didn't shy away from it, which I felt like was massive in his character development. First couple of seasons, he was sniveling, whining, always depressed about one thing or another, sometimes for very, appropriate reasons. But this was the first season where it felt like he took charge, but also stepped out of the limelight for it as well. So we got to see a lot of the other characters presented and, what their strengths were, and kind of capture them in very interesting moments and ordeals they had to go through. So I
Yeah.
I I think he showed the most growth of any character, and I feel like was very pleasing to me as a viewer. So he wins best protagonist.
Fair enough. Next we have best slice of life. We can start with you on this one.
This is an easy one. With You in the Rain. It's like the epitome of a slice of life. It's calm. It's captures the daily life of a writer who's very solitary, doesn't, interact with many people, very reserved, but comes in connection with a tanuki that knows how to write English, or I shouldn't say English, just knows how to write.
Yeah.
Um, and flips
In the
this
language
person.
you're viewing.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And flips her whole world around, and it's like she's like got this weird animal now that's in her life, and it changes everything for the better. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously some mystical nature to it. It's not a pure slice of life in the sense of like, it's everyday life. No one's walking the streets, adopts a tanuki that knows how to write in their native language and can interpret, real world situations on their behalf and like give an opinion. But it's enjoyable from the standpoint of like you get to see this person change throughout 12 episodes. It's funny. Again, it's super calming too. Like the name suggests, there's a lot of moments of quietness with just ambient sound of like nature, rain, the cicadas chirping, whatever it might be. It's just it's so peaceful. I loved it from like start to finish. It was by and far my top series for slice of life.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that it has an English dub, so I will add that to my
Oh,
short list.
good. Yes, if it's please do.
Yeah. So, for me, best slice of life. I kind of went back and forth on this one a bunch of times, but I'm gonna go with the one that really spoke to me the most, and I've talked about it on this podcast multiple times, and that is Ruri Rocks. I absolutely adored this show, and it wasn't because of the thick women of college,
They were
or the
all
college
thick.
women that were just well, not the high school girls, but anyways,
Well, all the
uh,
college. That's what I was saying. The college
all the
kids.
college, all the college kids were thick as fucking a bowl of oatmeal. Anyways, this show outside of that, I thought was really great. Like it really worked on character dynamics. It worked on like character growth as well as very small, but like you get there and you see it, and by the end of it, you're like, yeah, no, they're similar but very different from how the show started, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that
Hmm.
journey. But also, the subject matter interested me a lot because I was that kid who was with other friends that went down to, when I was at my grandma's, we'd go to the river or whatever, like
The
with the,
quarry.
the neighbor, yeah, the quarry with our neighborhood kids or whatever, and we just go look for rocks and whatnot. So to me, this show spoke volumes. I absolutely loved it, and it had absolutely nothing to do with the character designs. So, yeah, no, honestly, it really didn't.
Well,
I
I
promise.
just I laughed because you keep bringing it up, and I'm like,
I know because I know everybody's like, haha, press X to doubt, bitch, and
yeah.
it's just like, no, I fucking this show really spoke to me.
There's always one of
So,
these every. I feel like every year there's at least one where it's on a very niche topic
yeah,
or hobby, interest, whatever you want to call it, and it always speaks to one or both of us,
yep,
right? So it's
absolutely.
this one. I watched a little bit of it. I liked it. I thought it was really enjoyable. They got really deep at times into like the geology
I
and
fucking loved it,
studying.
dude. It was great.
No, I know that I'm just like
Why
my
why does this stone have the same name but they're different classifications? It's like, oh well, it's got this lines in it or it's got these gradients in it. And it's just like this is
nerd,
why they're dude,
nerd
I
alert,
fucking
nerd
loved that.
alert.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. No, but I
But
mean,
we'll move on.
but that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like it's nice that there was this type of series too, and it looked pretty too. The animation was
God,
wonderful in it.
throughout was absolutely gorgeous.
I
And
I can appreciate it
yeah.
specifically for like it wasn't just the animation that was really good. Their use of light was like
Oh,
superb.
so good. It
And
was so
it's great
good.
because it's a series that's like 95% of it takes place outside. So you want to be able to capture light in a perfect way when you're like traversing the mountains and going and going into the mines and stuff at times too, right? So it's like I really appreciated that. And I feel like I brought it to definitely another level as well. But for many other people, they probably just went there for the thick bodacious ladies. So
Yeah. And learned a
that's
little
all
bit about
that's all the
rocks and
that's
not the
all
one
yeah. Yeah,
not
just
the one in their pocket.
yep. That was all the clips I saw online where I was just like, "Oh, it's
I
Ruby Rocks
know.
again," and it's just
And
like, "Oh, it's just
it
the two.
doesn't
It's
fucking
the
help.
two or three same characters." Just
And it doesn't help that there's a scene in like episode 11 where they do a fashion show
yeah,
for
I
one of
know.
them, and it's
That's
just
one of the
like,
ones that I
God
saw.
damn it.
It's always them, and then it's like Big X the plug, just like, "Hey, hey." Safe to say, I'm the biggest, and I'm like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah. All right, next category we've got best drama. For me, I'm thinking a little bit more outside of the box because initially, like, I had one show and I was like, no, I've already given it an award, so like I would say medalist, but I'm gonna switch it here last minute and I'm
Oh,
gonna give it to Flower and Azura. Uh, I really enjoyed the show. I won't say that it had the most staying power with me. Like the last couple episodes are a bit hazy as to what it was or what they
mm-hmm.
did, but like I remember a good majority of the show in the sense that like this show was all about character dynamics in a very niche hobby. So it revolved around a broadcasting club and all the things that goes into a broadcasting club, but there are people who have like they all want to be professionals in like their own different respects. So one like people want to be announcers and like go over the PA and be announcing like pros for like just doing that.
Hmm.
People wanted to be sound editing, some people wanted to be, directing, etc. And so you kind of have these clash of personalities in which it's like, hey, as the broadcasting club, we all have to do a good job, but at the same time, we are all competing against each other because this is something we want to do professionally later
Yeah.
in life. And so it's just really unique and it was very different in that sense that it was just like it's something that really I haven't seen done very like often.
Hmm.
I say that as the season starts and we have I
Tune
forget
into
what
the
the
Midnight
show is
Heart.
called. Yeah, Tune into the Midnight Heart, which is like it revolves around four girls in a broadcasting club, but that's a rom com, not necessarily
Yeah.
like but what have you. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, despite the fact that I think like the last episode or two, I'm just like, did they just go on field trips? I don't really remember. So yeah, but other than that, like again, this show is really great, and it took me by surprise. I highly recommend it. This one is on High Dive, by the way.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, I know we haven't really been saying it, but like this one specifically, it's just like you can't just go to Crunchyroll, Netflix, whatever. It's
People know
on
about the
High Dive.
Jujels. They know. They can look it up.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, for
Mine,
you, good sir.
yeah. So I mean, to put in perspective, because yours is Flower and Azura, which is also pseudo romance too. Uh,
No,
No,
absolutely not.
no, it's just drama slice of life style.
It's drama slice of life. Yeah.
Okay, well, for context of the larger category, Crunchyroll last year had like Frieren, Apothecary Diaries, Pluto, Oshinoko, the some romance, A Sign of Affection, I think was in there. I This is just all to say, if mine stands out, it really doesn't, based on how Crunchyroll defines the category of drama. But mine, I gave it to Clevitus. I was extremely impressed with this anime. I know we kind of wrote it off at the beginning because the description did not give it justice to like what the whole
No.
story
Yeah.
was. They kind of just only focused in on like the first episode twist, we'll say, which wasn't even really a twist. It was just kind of setting the stage for the world and the events that were going to transpire. But
Yep.
it was so good. I think from start to finish you saw a wide range of character development alongside fantastic storytelling, alongside impeccable world, development, we'll say, like just setting the stage for like what is this world and who inhabits it and what has transpired over years and years and years, like hundreds of thousands of years. Like they were able to do that all in the span of the 12 episodes, and they did it really well, almost flawlessly, I would say. Um,
Yeah.
Albeit, I will say the teaser into season 2, not as thrilled about, but we'll see what happens. I but I think this one, it was a great drama in the sense of like there was still a lot of suspense, there was a lot of intense moments. Um, the first episode is an extended, I think, 50-minute episode as well. And even in that one first episode, there was a lot of moments where you're just like on the edge of your seat waiting. Each episode had a great cliffhanger to it. Uh, this was a in my mind, a people would call it, again, action or adventure, fantasy, whatever. I thought of it immediately and was like, no, this is a good drama, good dark fantasy drama.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I would say it's a dark fantasy action drama. Um, and I agree with everything that you said. I think that you and I, again, we did both write it off, and it really helps that this was legitimately like one of the first 1 to 3 shows that premiered for the whole entire season. So it's like
Yeah,
Well, I finished everything from last season. What can I watch? Well, there's this new show. It's like, screw it. Let's just see. Let's put it on. See if the first 10 minutes hooks us, and we'll go from there. And it
Yeah.
it sure as shit did just that. So I wholeheartedly think that that is also a great pick. Next category, we have Best Isekai. You and I, for actually the next two categories, we have the same picks.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Best Isekai, you and I both agreed from bureaucrat to villainess, dad's been reincarnated. Hands down was the best Isekai.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I don't think that there's anything else that would come through and beat this.
No, I mean there was you could give it to ReZero again. I liked season 3 a lot for its return after however many years, 5 years, 6 years, or whatever it was. It
Yeah.
was a good return. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I just, in terms of pure enjoyment and what Bureaucrat brought to the table, I was like, no, I unfortunately I have to give it to Bureaucrat. What they were able to
Yeah.
do, because it was like perfect for those that love the villainess type series, and it was perfect for those that love the cheeky isekais with a fun twist to it, right? Because we always rant about how the isekai genre is overflooded. It's a bunch of garbage. You just get, and then you got to pick through all of the shit to find the one diamond, right? That you're like, oh, thank God, there's one of you. Like, I'm not watching. I got reincarnated in a world as the second prince to the third heir of the throne, but my betrothed is now married to my brother, and I have to learn how to use water magic. Part 8. Like, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm sorry. Even if it's a 10 out of 10 in your opinion, it just doesn't appeal to me. But something like Bureaucrat, yeah, you can sign me up. So,
Yeah. No, I agree because between the two of us, I watch a heck of a lot more isekai than you do.
yes, you do.
And yeah, there is every once in a while like a diamond in the rough. I would say that even from last year, like hell, I say this with like wholeheartedly. I think Rising of the Shield Hero season 4 was was good. It was a very good return to form of what Shield Hero used to be.
But you got to make it through season 3
But yeah,
and
but you
season
got to get through
2.
season 2 and season 3, which
Y-
are absolute dog water. But season 4, I think for Shield Hero was great. But it's like again, it's a diamond in the rough because of the sense that you lost a lot of your audience early on.
Mhm.
I think that Red Ranger becomes an adventure in another world. It's unique, but it's still just like it's not. It's a gag, and then it's a matter of does the gag get old? And I
Yeah.
think it to a degree it does, but at the same time, it does keep the jokes fresh because, when the Power Rangers transform, they have the explosions. Every time somebody new that sees it is just like, what the hell just happened? So, yeah, for this villainess show, which, last year, early in the year, I gave villainess shows more of a chance and watched a bit more of them. And I couldn't get into the genre. The
Mm-mm.
genre was just not for me. And then you sent me this and you were like, you need to watch episode 1 immediately. I was like, okay. I hate this genre, but sure. And you were right. No, this show was an absolute delight. I think that for up and down from episode 1 to episode 12, the show was great. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to more for whenever the heck we do get more.
Yeah, whenever that happens.
Indeed. Next up, we have Best Action Show. Now, I know everybody at this point in time has just kind of creamed their pants of why hasn't there been any solo leveling season 2? Here's your award, Best Action.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be completely honest, like if it's going to win any of the awards, it is this award. It
Oh yeah.
has a lot of good action scenes in it. I think that the Emperor Ant or whatever the fucking ant arc where they go to the small island off the coast of Japan,
Mhm.
I thought that was great. I think that
Jeju
the
Island.
battle, the what?
Jeju Island. I only
Jeju
remember
Island.
it
Thank
because
you.
I went there.
Fair enough. Yeah, Jeju Island. You had the going into the fucking training ground, the tower arc where he has
Yeah.
to go traverse through 100 levels to get the elixir of life essentially for his mom. Those were really
Spoilers.
great. It's like the first 3
No, I
episodes.
know. No, I
Like Yeah, the battle scenes in this show have to be good because otherwise it's got nothing for it. The story is not very good. The characters are definitely not good, but the action had to be there, and it was. And I will give, its flowers where it's deserved.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there's really nothing more for me to say. I mean, there were certainly plenty of anime that also deserve the award, but purely going off of how Crunchyroll defines the category, and then obviously just having watched it with my own two eyes, it's like, yeah, no, Solo Leveling season 2 by and far gets the award, and it's, in my opinion, the only award that they deserve. Fight me.
Yep. No, I agree.
Fight me all you want.
So next up, we have Best Comedy, and here's where we diverge for, I believe, the rest of the show,
I'm
if
gonna
memory serves me
Yeah,
correctly.
and I'm gonna
No, we got
switch.
one,
I'm gonna
two.
switch
We've
up.
got two more.
I'm gonna switch up mine a little bit. I think for these next two.
Ooh.
I think
Okay.
'Cause
So Best Comedy then. Let's start with you.
so
if you're gonna
originally
switch it
I
up.
originally I had Bureaucrat, which is
Yep.
incredibly funny. Loved it.
It is.
I'm actually going to switch it and say 100 Girlfriends, who really, 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 really,
Ah.
really love you. That level of the level of comedy in that, it gets me every time. If I'm not chuckling in an episode, I'm belly laughing. And if I'm not belly laughing, I'm on the floor dying. Like, there was never a point watching season 2, and especially not watching season 1 either, where I wasn't just cackling. I love it. It's not, I mean, I feel like it's hard to compare it to this type of anime because, in my opinion, some of the best comedy that's been written in anime, but like it's not on like a Konosuba level, I would say,
Right.
but it's gosh darn close. Like it has some callback stuff that Konosuba also draws on, but they don't overuse it, and it's not just, you're not constantly inundated with just that one joke that's recurring, right? It's pretty fresh, but I love how you're able to use all these quirky, ridiculous characters for like different comedic uses and purposes, and they do it really well. So I'm gonna give it to 100 Girlfriends.
Fair enough. For me, I went the pure comedy route, in which it's just sketch comedy after sketch comedy bit after sketch comedy bit, and that show is City. If you've
Yeah.
not watched City,
Yeah.
City is just it's a laugh from the very start of the damn show. It's the same creator of Nichijou, so if you like that, you'll like City. This one is one of those weird ones where it's on Prime. There's not really much to say about it story wise. It's just a bunch of gags, like kind of tied together loosely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a wonderful show. If you just need something to laugh at, just go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. All right, let's speed through a few of these. Even
You
though the
got it.
next one I know you want to talk about really badly. Best romance.
Oh, so I think I have 100 Girlfriends,
You do.
but I'm gonna switch it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna switch it to something that when I'm looking back at my notes, I only gave it like a 7 or a 7.5. But in retrospect, I did enjoy the romance side of it, and that's Kowloon Generic.
Oh, okay.
I did enjoy, at the end of it, I did enjoy the anime. It left me with more questions than answers, which was a little bit frustrating, but I was captivated by this relationship between two characters, or three characters. Oh, spoiler.
Ooh.
It's just their dynamic was always interesting, learning more about their history and what transpired and about this city. Even like it was, as things started to transpire and the story became more and more complex, again, like I started to develop more and more questions and was left with very few that got answered by the end. But I did really appreciate how well the characters' romantic interests were written out and how it played out as the story went on. So I'm gonna give it to Kowloon. I will say I was on the fence with another one, which I'm assuming is yours, but I'll let you speak first.
So yeah, if you hadn't guessed what mine is, Tyler, it's Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity.
Yeah, that was like my very, very, very close runner up, but I have a
So
very obvious reason why it's not.
in full honesty, like in retrospect, looking back, because I do read this week to week now. It is a very vanilla show, and I'll give it that. But I think that it's very well done vanilla, and I would still rather have very well done vanilla than a shitty Rocky Road.
That's where we
And
differ.
that's where we differ.
I
So for me, I absolutely love this show. I love this series, and the fact that it fits in as much as it does in the first 13 episodes is a testament to this series, and the fact that it's still going, still keeping it fresh, I think is very good. Um, it doesn't do anything overtly like incredible, but it doesn't do anything bad by
Mhm.
any means. Nothing in this show is bad. So yeah, like to me, especially with how the season ended, absolutely this gets my vote because what they did in the season is what most shows do in a fucking lifetime unless you're Horimiya.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say that thing that was the one thing I was gonna bring up is like I would certainly I would try a very unique off the wall ice cream flavor just to say I've tried it versus going with the safe premium vanilla route. I think that's why Kowloon stood out to me because even though it wasn't perfect, it had plenty of flaws. It was still a good experience at the end. I'm glad I got the experience versus just watching two very autistic kids be autistic with one another and you're like just talk please 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 for the love of god just talk, stop doing all these
uh,
conversations in your head, talk.
yeah,
Anyway.
fair enough. All right, moving on to the next one. Best background art. I will start with this one. For me, I picked another slice of life that I feel like was critically not critically underrated because it was rated appropriately, but very overlooked in the mainstream of anime, and that is Mono. Mono,
Hmm.
I think, was an absolute delight of a show. This was very similar in the vein of Zatsutabi that you enjoyed last year,
Yeah.
in the sense that these girls want to take the best photos that they can with the new camera that they've got for this, photography club that they are in for school. And the people that they buy this camera from is a manga artist and mangaka, and that's basically in a rut that really only draws cat series, and their editors like, no, you need to draw something else. So she draws basically based off of these girls and their adventures to different parts of Japan, and they travel to Japan, see these things, and do all these different things throughout the cities or prefectures. And it's just like this show is a delight. This show is absolutely delightful. It was gorgeous as well, and I think like it was just overlooked. Like everybody sees a scene or two, and they're like, "What show is this? I'm gonna watch it," and then they just never do. So it's one
Yeah.
of those shows. You see a scene, you're like, "Oh, this is great. This is what the whole show's about." It's like, no, this is just one scene taken way out of context. I'm looking at you, skateboarding cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the show was great and definitely has a wonderful art, let alone background art, because they go throughout different parts of Japan and just yeah, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. So that's
Yeah.
mine.
And funny that you mentioned Zatsutabi because I think part of me wanted to give it to Zatsutabi for best background art, but
Hmm.
purely because it's just her traveling to different areas of Japan. It's more of like the photo gen. How do I want to describe it? It's less so the creative, imaginative background art. It's more just like really well done, picturesque areas of Japan,
Fair
which
enough.
yeah you can appreciate since that's what the whole show is about. But the one I gave it to was Zenshu, I believe, right?
Yep.
You can confirm me. All
Yes,
right,
that is correct.
excellent. Yeah, I just for for as many flaws, and there were many that this original series had. You got to credit Mappa. What they usually do extremely well in any series of theirs is background art, and this was no exception. So I mean, making a world where it's basically just this one lone city in a sprawling desert filled with nothing but chaotic creatures that assemble out of nowhere, really really intriguing and captivating, is challenging, and I think they did a really good job of making not only the city very vibrant and alive at times, but also feel very dead and like apocalyptic, we'll say. And
Yeah.
then also the different burbs and different areas, right? Like the more affluent area, the more downtrodden area, where the actual heroes live is starkly different from other places. So they did a good job of capturing all of that. And again, just it's Mappa. They do a good job of that level of animation.
That they do. Next up, we have best character design. Do you remember what you put or no?
I do. I
Okay,
mean, for me,
then we'll start with you.
it's an easy one. It's Gachiakuta. I
Yeah.
like. I don't know if there's a lot that needs to be said. I think the character design is extremely unique. It not often do you see an anime bring to life a character through just their design alone, right? I feel like the moment that you see a character on screen, you can almost just imagine their personality, and then it as the character comes out and you learn more about them, and they just exude it more and more, and you're like, oh yeah, no, this definitely fits the bill. So I just this show, it's hard to say already. I know because it's still only in its second core technically, right? Or second season. I can't remember if they're doing cores or if it's truly a
So
second
they
season.
did two cores, so it's over for now.
Yeah, but
It will
like,
come back with a season 2.
but man, this series should be on the top of many people's watch lists if you haven't already seen it. Like in terms of like, again, we always talk about new age shonens, like this one's up there.
Yeah.
And truthfully speaking, I think the reason for me is because of the character design. It's partly why I love Bleach so much. I think Bleach has the best character design of the big three, and you can argue One Piece, and if you argue Naruto, I'd say you hit your head too many times. But like, I like character design really can draw me in, and it certainly did that with Gachiakuta.
Yeah. No, I see it, and like again, if it wasn't gonna be a repeat, I would definitely put it here, but it would be a repeat. So
Yeah.
I'm trying not to go that way. So for me, I actually changed it. I did have Gachiakuta, but I am
Scoundrel.
going to change it. I know to what I was gonna do as my like kind of runner up, which is Gnosia, which is the show that everybody's like, wait, that's just the
Among Us.
anime, anime Among Us. It is, but the character design for
But
every single character you see on that like in that show is absolutely wonderful. It's so unique. It's very colorful, and the personalities to boot that like that are put into those characters' bodies are fucking fantastic.
yeah,
So it's just something that's so different that I was just like, yeah, no, like this makes sense. This deserves best character design. I will say I did have a third like honorable mention, which I do want to shout out there, and that is Sanda. Sanda has
yeah,
some wonderful character art that it's criminally underrated.
yeah.
And I implore more people to go watch it. It is on Prime. So,
Ugh,
yeah.
I know.
Moving on, we have best animation. Now, I'm actually going to give this to a show that I have only seen clips of. I've not seen the entirety of it. I've only seen
What?
clips, and it's on my watch list. I'm going to get to it one day,
All right.
but I have yet to get to it. And that is Uma Musume Cinderella Gray. Like that show,
Hajime,
everything I've seen
Hajime,
about it is
Musume.
fucking beautiful. Yeah, I know that song. Just the songs in that show are fucking great. They're
Yeah.
fucking hilarious. But no, like it's got its own like that game developer has their own art studio for a reason,
Psy
and
Games, right?
they've
I
just
think.
it's Psy Games,
Yeah.
yes, and they've just they do other things other than Uma Musume, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this show is absolutely beautiful. If you've not watched it, I mean, you've probably seen the memes where people are comparing One Punch Man season 3 to this horse derby racing girls game.
It's
Um,
it's drawing the
it's
same.
so good.
I'm gonna cough. Hang on. That's why I was going for my mic. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's drawing the same type of like fan response with animation to like when people are like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. You think this is an action? No, this is a fucking slice of life, but it's got better animation than 99% of the action anime out there. It's like that level, but
Yeah.
it's so pretty. It's so
It
pretty.
is so good. But yeah, like I despite not having watched it yet, like I can appreciate it
Yeah.
for what it is and know that this show absolutely deserves
The
this award.
Yeah, the animation one, I feel like it's less so. You want to give it to one that's consistent as well, because certainly there are
Yeah.
anime that like will draw up on like the first or second episode or like maybe their ending episode to be like, please for love of God, let this one
Yeah,
get the
stick.
most traction, yeah, and stick with the viewers. So, but like, Uma Musume, one, it's just a hard series to get into because it is long running at this point. People have said like,
Yep.
oh, you can jump into it in certain spots and blah blah blah, but it's like I kind of want to just get the whole thing, right? Than rather just like cherry pick. But I
Yep.
would agree. I think that one would deserve it. You might need to help me out here. I can't remember out of all the different anime which one I picked.
You have Secrets of the Silent Witch.
I do have Secrets of the Silent Witch. Wow, that anime was, again, not on my radar. I know it was on yours because you had read it and
Yep.
you were like, I implore you, please
I
go
was like,
watch
you
it.
need to watch this.
And I went in with not any real expectations and was completely blown away. It was incredibly pretty to look at. Again, would have been a contender, I think, for background art too, if not for the fact that it was more I safe, we'll say, in terms of its setting. It's primarily at a school. There's limited amount of like areas outside that we get to see apart from like the last two episodes. Um,
Yeah.
but beyond that, like the animation quality was like superb. The few action sequence they had were well choreographed and beautiful. The fluidity of a lot of the different scenes, the interactions of characters, the just I always appreciate an anime when they can perfectly capture a character's facial features when they're doing different like if they're looking scared or if they're looking like if they're surprised or whatever, like just the subtle differences. It always adds a lot to it, and I think they do it well here too. But yeah, the Secrets of the Silent Witch was one that what took me by surprise and I think rightly deserves animation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think that there are some times where the quality can be up and down, especially for like kind of the slice of life scenes.
Yeah,
But for the most part, it is pretty consistent and it does have good animation.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with you. And yeah, I remember our conversation when we did like the what's coming out this season. I was like, you absolutely cannot sleep on this show. Please watch this show. If you watch any one new show this season, it has to be that. And I'm glad I was right.
Oh yes,
Um,
very right.
next, yes. Next up, we have Best Original Show. You and I are on the same page here. We both have Lazarus.
Yeah, it's
Now,
uh, you go ahead.
like,
Go ahead first.
so I really I enjoyed Lazarus. To me, it's a solid 8 out of 10 show. They're just like it wasn't anything spectacular. Like it wasn't the next Cowboy Bebop, but it also wasn't anything like awful. It wasn't something
Yeah.
bad. I also don't think that there was many very good original shows last year. Like I still need to finish Dusk Beyond the End of the World.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I could see myself giving it the award to that if the last 3 episodes stand the landing. Because I think that show with the first 10 episodes or first 9 episodes are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Zenshu has a pacing problem in which the very beginning is not very good, but you stick with it and it gets a hell of a lot better. And then Mobile Suit Gundam G Quicks, really haven't heard much of it, even from the Gundam fans in my life. I'm just like, it just came and went. The runner up or, kind of honorable mention that I would say and throw out there would be Serario Utility.
Oh,
That show,
I'm surprised you wouldn't pick To Be Hero X.
no, To Be Hero X. To be fair, I've only watched the first of the anthology for that, so I haven't really
Okay.
gotten too far into it. I did enjoy the first bit of it, but I'm so burnt on just superhero stuff in general
Yeah.
that kind of fell into that column, and I was like, I really don't care.
You-
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, so but like Serario Utility is my honorable mention. It's the only show so far that has ever wanted to get me into golf. It is the only thing that has actually
Yay.
ever wanted to get me into golf. It's not
Ah,
even my family wanting to do it. It's not really you wanting to play golf or whatever. Like I
I
just generally have no real want to play golf, and this gave me the want to play golf.
I would argue that it's this plus Green Green Greens.
That's true. Green Green Greens, that manga, criminally underrated. I'm still pissed that Shonen Jump fucking canned it.
Yeah.
That show, oh, God, that was damn it. Why,
Sorry.
why, why
Well, you
did you
brought up
do
you
this
brought
to
up
me?
golf, and I yeah.
I know, but why
Because
would you bring up
Serario
Green Green
Utility
Greens?
would be my backup
I'd
too.
finally put it out of my
I'm
mind that it's
sorry. It's
gone,
okay. Anyway,
and you
Lazarus, right?
brought it
Best
back.
original
Best,
series. Yeah,
best original
Lazarus.
series, Lazarus. Yes,
I yeah,
I
the agree with all your points. The only thing I would point out is that I feel like it didn't get as much love from people because everyone went in thinking like, "Oh, it's from the creator of Cowboy Bebop. It's going to be like Cowboy Bebop. I can't wait for another Cowboy Bebop." And it wasn't. And I think that frustrated people. And it's again, they going into a show with the mentality that this series is going to be like the other series from a creator, right? It'd be like the same reaction for people that love Fullmetal Alchemist, you and myself included, and reading Daemons of the Realm, I think it's called, or
think that's right.
and it's getting an anime now too, and going in thinking like this is going to be the next Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, whatever, and it not reaching that like tier level,
Level.
and then you just being like it's an utter failure, right? It's
Yeah,
having that mentality going in is never helpful when you're watching a
I
new series and you're having that level of expectation.
I agree, but it would also help that all of the marketing, or it would help if the marketing
I
didn't
know,
really market
but
it all that
I
way,
mean,
because they legitimately marketed it that way.
part of it, I mean, yes, it was like from the creator of Cowboy Bebop, but I mean, at the same time, it's like when you're talking about an original series, you have to have some sort of hook, right, or some sort of tag. I think like there's a handful of ones that got away with not doing something like that. This is super off the wall, but there was a series written and produced by Mike Judge, who, if you don't know, King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead. Um,
Right.
it was on Adult Swim, and it was really weird. It was like about the pharmaceutical industry and this guy finding like a mushroom that can almost like instantly heal you and stuff. And it was really weird, crazy, not Mike Judge level stuff. And it was only until halfway through I was like, "Oh, this is written by Mike Judge?" And I was like, "I didn't have no idea." But I mean, it didn't sway my opinion or anything, right? So I get it from your perspective too. Like maybe they could have dialed it down a bit and been like, "Hey, it's
Yeah.
from the creator, but like just so you peons know, it's not Cowboy Bebop season 2. This is a wholly new show. Like it's
Yeah.
entirely different." So, it's you're never going to get rid of that. But unfortunately, I think that maybe sullied it affected viewership,
It
I
did.
want to say, towards the end when people are like, "This isn't Cowboy Bebop. Where's Spike? Where's the
Yay.
gang? I'm sick of this. Where's their dog companion, Ein?"
Yeah. We've got four more left. We've got next best new series. For myself, I put Secrets of the Silent Witch here. There are so many other shows that I feel like I could have put here as well, but like
Yeah.
again, this was that one show that I was like, hey, if you have to watch anything this season that is brand new, it is absolutely Secrets of the Silent Witch, because I believe Gachiakuta started the same season, if memory serves me correct, the
Yeah,
summer
I
season.
think you're right. Yeah.
And it like I've read part of Gachiakuta before then, and I was just like, yeah, no, this is good. Like I understand that the hype, the marketing's behind it, but like,
Hmm.
man, you guys, y'all have to watch it. And sure enough, I was blown away by Secrets of the Silent Witch. I did not expect the adaptation to be as good as it was, and it surpassed all of my expectations. Hell, it even got like it got further. So this series is based off a light novel,
Hmm.
and they only have a handful of manga volumes out because it's still being adapted. So like the show went past where the manga is at, out physically. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like, hey, I got half of a really like half of the show was a really, really, really good adaptation, and the other half is brand new material for me to watch. I am very happy about this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I always struggle with this one because part of me is like with a best new series, I tend to want to pick something that has a continuation. It's not like a one shot. It's not a limited series. Um, and that's why, because like I was like I could give it to Orb. I can give it with You in the Rain. I wanted to give it to Secrets of the Silent Witch. There was like a handful of other series that I'm like Clevitus. Like I was like that certainly could have been on that list too. And we know Clevitus is going to get a next season, but there's like always a
yeah,
handful where I'm like I really want to award it, but I know it's either completely done or like it could have been an original. Who knows if it's going to continue, or it might have like a limited amount of volumes left, and we're like, it could be a movie, it could be maybe one more season. Who knows when? But
yeah,
this one for me was Gachiakuta though, because I was like, I knew it took everyone by storm that had watched it. It blew me away. Again, it's nice to see a wholly different approach to like a shonen type series that stands out amongst a lot of the other. I'm gonna be kind of rude. A lot of the other cookie cutter type shonen series that
yeah.
have been coming out, and it it's it's excellent. Not to mention the creator is an alt baddie too, and is incredible. I love her. Um, but yeah, I think Gachiakuta deserves it in terms of what they did to that larger genre of like shonen type series, the way that they were able to do so much with just their characters alone, not to mention the story. People have been, I know people think it's goofy because they just take garbage, and people are like, my bro's going into a fight the next week, and like one guy's got like a vacuum cleaner, and another guy's got like a spoon. And I'm like, yeah, make fun of it all you want, but it's an interesting take on like powers and this power dynamic that you don't see often. Because I'm thinking of like other series that we watched that are in that category, like Togenanki, pretty bad. Did not like it.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a handful of others that I watched that are like, yeah, this is just kind of mediocre shonen. But no, Gachiakuta definitely stood out. I think that's certainly going to be the next best continuing series too down the road, with how well it's traversed its first season.
Yeah, as somebody who has read or is week to week on that series, reading it, it's only going to go up,
Yeah.
and it's so fucking good. Uh, next up, sorry, I was like, wait, did I go through mine? I did. Next up, we have best returning show. This is we got two more that we were on the same page out of the three, and this is one of them. We both said My Dress Up Darling season 2.
So I I struggled with this hard because it was like this, it was ReZero. Part of me like I'm like solo leveling. Yeah, I really did like season 2. It was a extreme jump up from season 1.
Yeah,
Um in a great way too, because it was like, yes, this is where we're getting into the action. This is where we're getting into the battles. This is where we see the true progression take place. Um in not only like season 1 was more leaps and bounds, this one was more of a like a meticulous gradual progression up in strength that you kept seeing, which was like, oh, thank God you're not just seeing like this random power spike out of nowhere. um when his literal whole body changed in the hospital, which
Mhm.
still frustrates me to this day, but it's okay. um but
Yeah,
yeah, My Dress Up Darling season 2, you can judge us all you want, but the way that they're able to navigate this very frustrating to viewers but very like intricate relationship between two characters that are wildly opposite from one another, it was so well done in season 2 from season 1 that I honestly didn't think. I'm like, how much more can it get? Like, having read most of it too, I'm like, I know what's gonna happen, but like seeing it animated, it's like
play
how
out.
how well are they gonna be able to like actually traverse this? And it does it so well. Like, you get to see different sides of each character that you didn't get to experience in season 1. You got to see more characters get involved too, which was great to see, adding another layer to their relationships and their larger dynamic in like a more of an open environment, we'll say, because a lot of the times it was just interactions between the two of them and behind closed doors, not in a gross pervy way, but like
Right.
just in a it's just them figuring out how they're going to communicate with one another and interact with one another, but now setting it into a larger stage where they're doing it in front of more people and it's more open. It's like, that's another thing to have to maneuver through. So no, I probably enjoyed this return more than any of the other series that I'd watched, like Dawn to Dawn, Apothecary Diaries, again, ReZero, even 100 Girlfriends, which it's my comedic one, but it does stand out still. Um, but yeah, no, Mud Dud takes the cake for best returning series in my books.
Yeah, no, people are gonna ask again. I kind of brought it up at the beginning of the show. Like, why is your best returning show your that when your anime of the year is also a returning show? Well, I don't want to give it to two different things. I would say, in my opinion, My Dress Up Darling is the second best returning show of this year or last year. Um, uh, with everything that you've said of just the character dynamics, the new costumes, hell, even giving the side characters a lot more screen time,
Mm,
personalities, and motivations and whatnot. I think that also played a really good part in season two. I thoroughly enjoyed week to week. You know, I was there day one every week, just watching it, just be, like ready for a new episode. So to me, this show was a masterclass in how you come back in a season two. There's not really much more I can really say about it other than that.
yeah.
So we will move on to our next one, which is best film. And to no surprise, you and I both have the same film, and that is Chainsaw Man Reze Arc.
Yep.
Like that movie, like I still think about it. I'm like, man, that movie was incredible, and
Um,
I'm still
but it's
going.
technically it's a continuing canonical arc in an ongoing series. It's not a standalone movie.
Okay, whatever, Mister. I'm actually. No, like the movie itself. Yeah, I know it's not a standalone movie. It is canonical, but like I think this is the way that moving forward, studios should do canonical movies. You shouldn't do it like Demon Slayer, where it's three parts to finish out a series. It really should just be, hey, this is a like a short arc for this overall show.
Hmm.
Let's do it up at nicely. Let's give it a good budget and just do it as a movie. I think it just, yeah, it really, really set itself up for success that it was just a very small arc in the grand scheme of things.
We
That it just felt really well done in a movie
we talked
plot.
ad nauseum about like how like our
Yeah,
thoughts on movies and stuff and like the different categories of anime movies where it's like these are your sneak peek movies where it's not really a movie, it's like the first episode or two, or these are your recap plus sneak peek, or these are your standalone non-canonical but still canonical movies. Looking at you, My Hero, right? All these different classifications that you can attribute to the anime movies. But the one that's
yep,
always been the most frustrating for us have been these canonical ones. But I 100% agree with you in that Chainsaw Man sets itself apart in that they did it deliberately. They made the conscious effort to say, look, this upcoming arc is kind of its own contained story that as a part of a season would lose its like not grandeur, but there would be a loss of appreciation from fans if we just threw it in as like the first 3-4 episodes to the season
yeah.
and then capped it off later. Like it would be super forgetful, right? We wanted to
To watch
stand.
that week to week would be painful.
Yeah, we wanted. I'm sure the conversation from Fujimoto, because he's been heavily involved in everything since his series got adapted as an anime too. I'm sure his thought process was, look, why we need to give this the attention that it rightly deserves, and the best way to do so would be in a movie. We could do it as like 3 episodes to start the season. Everyone's gonna just throw it away, like, and it's not gonna mesh well too with how the rest of the events transpire as that next arc evolves, right? It's gonna be like a stark contrast. Let's make it a movie, like,
Yep.
and they did it to perfection. Whereas other series like I know we keep picking on it, but like Demon Slayer, even to a degree like Attack on Titan, it was like, how can we continue to
Yeah.
make the most amount of money? We're not going to do it with the mindset of this makes the most sense for fans, because Attack on Titan fans, you can argue with me all you want, but having 4 episodes in a season where they just walk in the woods, camp twice, and have a picnic is not meaningful. It's that deliberately shows that they were just milking it as long as they could. Okay? You can't even argue with me. And the same thing with Demon Slayer, right? We want this last arc to be meaningful. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So why did you have an 8-episode arc that only covered 8 chapters in your series? Oh, because we wanted money. Okay. That makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
So and that, so the business side aside though, the movie, the Reza Eric movie was top to bottom perfection in my books. It had the soundtrack, it had the animation quality that you wanted. And again, it's like it's a really weird departure from where we end in season 1 and then where we're now going to head into season 2 if you're reading the manga, that it feels like this its own little side story adventure, which is perfect. Like you love that, especially in a situation where it is still canonical. So, it's by and far the best. And I will say though, putting a little asterisk for 2026, I am excited that we might actually get a non-anime series, like manga series movie taking the award this upcoming season. So, already, because there's a couple that are coming out soon that I got on my radar. So, we'll see.
Very nice. Lastly, we have anime of the year. I'll start with this one just because I've kind of already alluded that it's already going to be a sequel. Get up on my chair here. Get up on my high horse.
Sit up
Yeah,
real high.
let me sit up for this one. I put Dan to Dan season 2. I absolutely love this series. I think that the season 2, I mean, literally picked up where season 1 left off, because season 1 left off like at the very beginning of the next arc, but it picks up exactly where it lets up and just continues with the roller coaster of just batshit insanity that happens throughout season 1 into season 2, and has a lot of different moments in it that I thought were great. Like, there are specific scenes that you could point to that are like, this was a standout scene, let alone a standout episode.
Mhm.
I don't think it had nearly as much of a standout episode as like number 7 from season 1. But I do think that season 2 does have those moments, those episodes that are very well done. And the arcs that it covers, I thought honestly it was going to cover more, but I'm glad it didn't, because it gave the things that I didn't think needed to breathe and kind of play out the time it needed. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of glad that I was wrong in what it would cover. So yeah, Dan to Dan season 2, I think was an absolute joy. I know that there's a lot of discourse over, just the characters and how they're portrayed sometimes, but to that, we just say it is a criticism on Japanese culture, or not necessarily Japanese culture, but just how they
What
view high
is
school students.
what's shown, and it's
Exactly. But yeah, I think that Dan to Dan season 2 was a masterclass in a sequel season throughout the entirety of it. So yeah,
I'm not going to talk about mine long because I've talked at lengths about it already. But if you're
we've also
unaware,
done a review episode on it.
we
So
have, and if you're unaware, mine is Orb on the Movements of the Earth. All I'll say about it is the amount of times I've talked about it with people who either watch a lot of anime, watch a little bit of anime, or watch no anime, that I've said, hey, look, just sit down and watch a couple episodes and see if you like it and continue it. All of them that I followed up with have said they watched the entirety of it and they wholeheartedly agree with me. I think you're the exception, obviously, because I didn't. I was like gabbing about it and gabbing about it and gabbing about it, and I know you said you liked it. It just wasn't your cup of tea because of the
the
topics.
subject matter. It's
Yeah.
not. It's yeah.
It's kind of it's not something. It'd be like, it's like my Ruri Rocks, basically, right? Where I'm like, I liked
Yeah.
it. It just doesn't speak to me because it's not something that I can connect with, right? Orb on the Movements of the Earth is one that I've classified as like a generational type anime where you only get something like this every once in a blue moon because it's not only the theme, like the material that it covers, but just its ability to tell the story is, in my books, by and far one of the best anime for that. Like, it's how they go from each character to each event that sort of spirals along and adds more layers to this larger problem, to the conflict as a whole, to just how it all ends, everything wraps up, is just like it blew me away. So if you're of an intriguing mind and you want to see something that is um really, I can't draw a comparison to any other anime because it is just like it's like a historical dramatization, right? Which are very, very, very few and far between. Uh, if you just want to test your, I guess, expectations or assumptions about an anime, just go watch Orb on the Movements of the Earth, because I think you'll truly find something unique in one regard or another, where whether it's like, wow, I didn't realize an anime could be something like this, or holy crap, I couldn't imagine myself taking an interest to this type of material, like these topics, what's being the conflict as a whole, right? I didn't have any interest in helio centrism versus geocentrism. Like, if you don't know what those words mean either, and just want to know, just go watch it. I implore you to just give it a try, because I do think that this is one of those anime that we'll only get to experience every so often.
Fair enough.
I already
Yeah,
talked,
no,
and I talked at lengths about it. And I said I wouldn't, but I'm sorry.
yes, you did.
I love
It's
this
okay.
anime. It's so
It is.
goddamn good.
It is again.
Ugh.
Just because I didn't vibe with it doesn't mean that I can't give it its flowers. I think in our review episode I said, like, I understand why you think it's a show. I understand why anybody else would think it's a good show. It's just not a good show for me. It's not a
Yeah.
good fit. But like, again, I will give it its flowers. It's kind of like Uma Musume. I haven't watched it, but I'll give it its flowers. It's definitely pretty. So, but yeah, for you giving this anime of the year, I think it was like the last handful of episodes that really came out in 2025. So this was kind of a technicality.
I know. I'm interested to see what Crunchyroll does with it, because it is one of those ones where, like,
it got snubbed last year, and
so I assume that it's on this year's docket. Who knows? It'll be weird to see. It'll be weird to see how they start doing it, because they're doing the calendar year, and there are those weird animes that, like, some of them either
bleed.
They bleed into it for production issues, or because they're extended series, or whatever the case might be. Like, how they're going to navigate that, especially because we want to avoid the JJK issue. But
yeah, well, I mean, lucky for us, the 2026 year, we aren't going to get too many of those kind of banger shows that bleed into 2026 from 2025.
yeah,
I think the only one so far is To Your Eternity season 3. But it's like, I don't see anybody voting for Watari-kun's butthole is about to collapse, or anything else
Probably
like
not.
that. Or I forget I Think I'm Falling in Love with You, or some crap. I forget what the fuck it was, but it's some bad rom-com show. Yeah, I don't think that any of those are by any means going to have any problems next year. But
I'm wondering if they'll start setting up the rule for, like, if you finish in the calendar year. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But that's neither here nor there. What is here is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. But if you want more of us, please go follow us on social medias, wherever you get your social media, at Bakacopodcast, where we are working on a few different things for this current anime season, and we've got a few ideas in the works. So keep up with us there if you want more of us in short form. But we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode. So until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.